Well, personally, my family and I moved here to Sydney in 2006 with two very small Texans who are now big Australian university students. Professionally, I've spent my entire career in professional services, 20 years with a global management consultancy. And at that point, after 20 years, I decided to really focus on leaders and leadership teams, first as a field of study, and then as my full-time endeavor, which I've been doing now since 2015. Just reflecting on those projects with 37 clients on 2 continents, the great projects were always the ones that were well led, and the poor projects, there was something wrong, and it wasn't just necessarily one leader, but there was something missing. And so that's why I became fascinated with leadership. I think leadership is accessible to anyone, and that's because leadership isn't a position or a person. Leadership is an exchange between people, and therefore it makes it accessible and it makes it something that we can always be learning and perfecting. I guess primarily authenticity. A lot of times we read great books or listen to other leaders and we try and adopt what they do. I was listening to a CEO talk the other day about how difficult it was for him to manage by walking around. That for him, when he walked the halls and tried to lead that way, it was just awkward. So he needed to do something else that suited him. Well, definitely people are feeling disconnected. And in that disconnected, what they're looking for is purpose. And they're looking for purpose both at an individual level, a team level, and an organizational level. So I think the winners of the next 10, 15 years will be those organizations that are able to connect people into something larger than themselves. Fred Brown, Fred, if you're watching, Fred led the customer like no one I've ever been around. Fred was a partner at Accenture when I was coming up through the ranks there. The other one probably to speak about is Jesus. He led by serving other people all the time, 24/7, which I find enormously challenging. Well, probably for the last 5 years, it's a book called Extreme Ownership, How Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink. It's a very challenging book. Essentially what he's saying is you own everything. Favorite quote is Steve Jobs. Jobs was quoted as saying, "We don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do." Well, it was really the connection with the other directors. So I had a number of different opportunities in front of me, some with large organizations, but really I wanted to do something small and build something. And I felt a real connection to the other directors.